boxing truth here. I saw a report that made me laugh my ass off, and it had to do with Andre Ward's next opponent, as the terms have been agreed to for Andre Ward's next fight. It was reported by Dan Raphael, and his next opponent will be Alexander Brand, a familiar foe, since he was supposed to be an opponent for Ward back in November for the Cotto Canelo undercard slot that never materialized because of Ward's knee inflammation. So now, it looks like the fight is going to go down for August 6th, as the terms have been agreed to, and looks like it's going to be finalized later this week, as Andre Ward is going to participate in a complete showcase bout, fighting a 39-year-old super middleweight in a trash fight HBO is presenting to the boxing public. But I get it. Ward's team had to find an opponent that he could beat in order to go ahead on the fight with Sergey Kovalev later this year, which has been signed, sealed, and delivered. I know people had their doubts of that fight taking place later in this year, especially since no interim opponent for Ward had been announced until today. That Alexander Brand will most likely be the next opponent for Andre Ward. But the fight signed, sealed, and delivered. There's now a venue. It's going to take place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, a big arena for that type of fight. Not sure that's the right venue for, especially since it's a very big arena. Maybe that fight would have been better suited at the Mandalay Bay. But now you can say with more confidence that the fight is going to go down with Sergey Kovalev, now that Andre Ward's next opponent has been agreed to. And it's a complete showcase bout, a trash fight that HBO has to buy because they want the fight with Sergey Kovalev for Andre Ward later this year. And after looking deeper into it, after absorbing all the information, the interviews of all the teams, all the parties involved for the fight for Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward, I have the feeling that HBO wants Sergey Kovalev to rid of them and knock out Andre Ward, as HBO sees a lot more upside with Sergey Kovalev. Andre Ward's been a disappointment for HBO. When they first signed him to a multi-fight deal back in 2012, he was supposed to be the next star. He was supposed to be groomed as the next boxing star after Floyd Mayweather, the next American star HBO could present to the boxing public in America. But it didn't go according to plan. A lot of mishaps, a lot of misfortune, as Andre Ward had a showcase with Chad Dawson at 168 pounds, draining him to a weight that he never fought at before, got a knockout win, and all went downhill from there, as injuries, litigation, the fight with Kelly Pavlik canceled because of Andre Ward's shoulder injury, kept him out of the ring for quite some time. And it's been a disappointing run at HBO for Andre Ward. I mean, what great fights has he been presented in by HBO? What great fights has he been in on the HBO platform? Most of them have been showcases. A drained Chad Dawson, a canceled Kelly Pavlik fight, a showcase against Evan Rodriguez, who's a pretender. He was never any good. Didn't fight all of 2014. HBO wasn't willing to pay top dollar for a showcase bout against Paul Smith, so he had to fight on BET. Pulled out of a fight against Alexander Brand. Was very difficult to deal with for a fight with Sullivan Barrera to finally materialize, and it did. That is the only light heavyweight Andre Ward has fought since his return to the sport, a legit light heavyweight who was a prospect, not no world beater, whose best friend was Karl Morak going into the bout. And now Ward is back to fighting a super middleweight, who he's going to make Alexander Brand come up in weight in order to be showcased, in order to be just used as an opponent. for Andre Ward, so Ward can fulfill on his contract obligation to fight Sergey Kovalev in November of this year. But I can see it now. Andre Ward is being sacrificed by HBO. He's just being used as an opponent. That's why he was given the multi-fight deal to be on HBO and fight Sergey Kovalev. If you go by Virgil Hunter's statements, Andre Ward's trainer, he said he got the impression that HBO forced Andre Ward to move up in weight. But no, they didn't force Andre Ward to move up in weight. They were only willing to give him a multi-fight lucrative deal on HBO unless he fought a Sergey Kovalev in the near future. Considering the lack of opponents, lucrative money fights at 168, HBO was not willing to give top dollar a multi-fight contract deal if he was going to stay at 168, because who was he going to fight that would have made big money or made a pay-per-view bout or significant bout at 168? So that's why Andre Ward took the multi-fight deal with HBO. It was too much money to turn down. The part of the deal included a Sergey Kovalev fight, and the HBO only gave Andre Ward a 3-fight deal, 2 interim fights, and then a Kovalev fight at the end of the year. But HBO is playing it smart. Even they think Andre Ward's not going to beat Kovalev. They expect Andre Ward to get chinned and flattened, as they see Sergey Kovalev as being a guy who has much more upside, who still has a bunch of big fights ahead of him. A guy who is perhaps going to be the next pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. And Sergey Kovalev's star is rising. He has a dynamic fighting style. He has the knockout power. He's constantly destroying his opponents. He's just a more dynamic fighter offensively. Puts on for better shows, better quality performances, knockout performances. HBO sees this, and they see that Sergey Kovalev is more reliable, is willing to stay active, is willing to fight the best in the world, is willing to travel to other fighters' hometowns and whip their asses. Something Andre Ward has lacked in his career. I'm not saying Andre Ward's a boring fighter. To be honest with you, I'd rather watch Andre Ward fight than watch Floyd Mayweather fight. To me, Andre Ward's more interesting to watch fight than the Floyd Mayweather. But Andre Ward's not producing the type of performances Sergey Kovalev is. Sergey Kovalev is capturing the people's imagination with his knockout power and his invincibility. And HBO senses that Kovalev is going to be the man with his hand raised once Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev collide. And that's how it's going to go down. This is what's going to happen. Ward has not been reliable to HBO, has pulled out of fights, has been inactive, has derailed the plans of HBO into making him a superstar. And now it's too late. 32 years old, bum knee, a bum shoulder. Not the same fighter that he once was. And now he's going to fight a super middleweight. A 39-year-old Alexander Brand who's done nothing in his career. The guy is trash. He ain't shit. It's going to be a safe fight for Andre Ward, as he's going to showcase himself against Alexander Brand, who's had 26 fights in his career, 1 loss, and lost to a Badu Jack as a prospect, a super middleweight. Disappointing fight for Andre Ward, but there was no quality pool of opponents available at 175 on the HBO street. Cleverly opted for another fight. The Swedish guy that they were trying to fight opted not to take the fight. And so now Andre Ward is left with Alexander Brand, and what will be the worst preparation possible for a Sergey Kovalev bout. And HBO is willing to pay a top dollar license fee just to showcase Andre Ward so he can get a win and fight Sergey Kovalev. But HBO is doing it for the greater result later in the year, as they want Sergey Kovalev to rid them of Andre Ward, who has not fulfilled his potential in his career. who has cost himself a lot of time, and now he's not the fighter he once was. This is it, y'all. It's going down. November 21st, Sergey Kovalev, as HBO wants it, will become the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport when he knocks the fuck out Andre Ward. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.